Hello, hello. Welcome back to Let's Talk Entertainment News. Does everybody remember last year's unasked for remake of Roadhouse starring Jake Gyllenhaal? Well, they're doing a sequel and it's already experiencing some hiccups in the production because of losing directors and whatnot. So we're going to talk about that in just a moment and see if it'll affect the release date. But before we do, just a quick reminder, be kind. That is our only rule around here. Be kind. That's all we ask. Can you handle that? Can you be kind? Thank you. Be kind. All right then. Yes, Roadhouse 2 gets release date update after director exits. Roadhouse 2 is switching up directors. Deadline reports the news also comes with new information on the film's production. According to Deadline report, Roadhouse 2 will be looking for a new director as Guy Ritchie is out of the sequel at Amazon MGM Studios. And let me just say that if you're going to do this completely unnecessary sequel to a remake, I think Guy Ritchie would be a good option. He has incredible style and action chops, and I think he would have meshed well with what Doug Liman did in the previous film, and perhaps adding a new dimension himself. But that alone sort of made him an interesting or strange choice, just because you think of him more as an independent, somebody who really does their own thing. But to come in and do a sequel, kind of odd. I think it was always doomed to fail. No official reason was reported to why Ritchie backed out of the film. I'm guessing Amazon probably pulled some more of the shenanigans they did with Doug Liman. Doug Liman notoriously got pretty pissed off when he found out that this film, or the previous film, wasn't going to be in theaters, which I think was a big mistake. I think they lost a lot of money there. But Deadline notes that Amazon remains extremely invested in the project. With the search for a new director likely to begin immediately, Deadline notes that the studios plan to keep the production on track to film in the fall. The report also mentioned that casting for the film is still underway. It seems as Ritchie's leaving won't impact the film's plan too much. And I'm not so sure about that. I think, it could. It could be... it could stay on track. Maybe you find somebody who has no backbone, somebody who will not play hardball with the studio. But if you find somebody of the likes of a Doug Liman, of a Guy Ritchie, they're going to want to put their input into this thing, possibly another rewrite on the script. And I think that could ultimately lead to a better film, but probably a delayed film. The first film, released in 2024, was directed by Doug Liman. The sequel will reportedly be written by Bad Boys Ride or Die's Will Beall. Most of the film, including its cast and plot, remain under wraps. However, it has been reported that Dave Bautista recently joined onto the project, and that's an interesting choice. I think you would think of him as being the bad guy, perhaps, but he's getting up there a little bit. I think he's letting some of the body mass get away from him. I think he's made a concerted effort to improve his acting and be more than just muscle. So who will he be? Will he play against type and not be the villain? I hope so. The first movie starred UFC star Conor McGregor. A lot was said about Conor McGregor's over-the-top performance. I quite liked it. I've never seen him fight. I don't watch any UFC. But I love how ridiculous and over-the-top it was. The rest of the villains are sort of your generic petty crime family. But to have him come here and just be completely ridiculous, full of himself, I quite liked it. I think that was actually an interesting twist that will, in the long run, be remembered. But there you go. It looks like losing Guy Ritchie after losing Doug Liman, supposedly the sequel to Roadhouse is on pace to continue to be set to be released when it's expected. I don't know. Maybe the whole thing will fall apart at this point and they'll never do it. I think it'd be interesting to see what they do with it as far as theatrical distribution. Will they put it in theaters? I think that would be a bit of a slap in the face to Doug Liman. Doug Liman, all he wanted was for his movie to be in the theaters. You didn't do that, and then you do the sequel without him and you put it in theaters. But I think that ultimately there's more money to be had in the theaters. It definitely adds a little bit of clout to a film before putting it onto streaming. Putting a movie in a theater, bottom line, helps the streaming. So I hope they do it. The first one would have been great in the theater. That sort of high-paced, tight action fight scenes. Could have been a bit like a John Wick situation where it's sort of an unexpected hit where the level of awesome violence attracts people. But we shall see. Tell me what you think in the comment section below. Who would you think would be a good director to fill into this position? I really don't know. At this point, I think it's probably going to be an unknown. You've had two knowns come and go. It's probably going to be an unknown because Amazon's going to want to pull the strings here, and they're not going to want to have somebody who thinks independently and wants to do the best that they can. That's my opinion. What is yours? Let us know in the comment section, and I'll see you again soon.